Well, it's just after 8:15 now, the morning of the day that I'm leaving Tapatya for probably a couple of months, I suppose. It's what they always say. What do they say? Bittersweet, don't they? But it's true. Sad to be leaving. It's not bittersweet, it's just sad. But good. Well, there we go. Walking to the bus station now. What are you doing there, Hazel? Answering YouTube comments.
Yeah.
And we're at the bus station and waiting. And back in good old Germany. I need to make 2 new bolts for the other end of the tiller pilot, where it is the fixed end, the outer end. So I'll be on the lathe making those up soon. And in here, which is rather an interesting project, I believe, this is a new ram. Here, a couple of stainless brackets that will fit onto there, one each end. And I'm going to mount this on the tiller with this end going to the trim tab, so that I can steer the boat via the trim tab with the tiller pilot. That's the stainless bracket on the end of there nicely. Just got to do one for the other end, which I've got set up in the drill over here. Drill it through. There we go. I should go onto here like this, in theory. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, lovely. On there, look, you've got a bit of angle adjustment on there. Obviously, when the ram's out fully, we'll have more. Or it could go that way round, which would work nicely, I feel, if I just back up there. If I mount this bracket that way up, that one goes onto the trim tab. That allows for a bit of angle adjustment on there. Should work well. Just need to make some kind of wooden block, I think, probably, that this affixes to on the tiller. That should be nice. I've got these, I'll turn it around, I've got R-clips in here, which at the moment are too big, but on the boat I've got a set of smaller ones. So I'll just put some R-clips in there so I can remove it easily enough. And that would be that. I've got in my pocket, actually, a Bulgin plug, which will plug straight into the pelagic tiller pilot outlet, which I'm going to put on there, but at the moment I'm not convinced that this cable's long enough, so I may need to extend that. I'll do that when we're at the boat, so I know how long that needs to be, and the Bulgin plug ready to go. They are very expensive. So one of the issues I had was that the pin on the outer end of the tiller pilot attaches with 2 pins, one on the outside end, which is a fairly fixed pin, and one on the tiller, which you can remove fairly easily. The one on the outside end broke on one of my sailing trips down the Atlantic side of Portugal. I had a bit of an issue when it was dark there, and the pin that the tiller pilot mounts on this end broke, and yeah, I had to scramble around. I've got an 8mm bolt in there now, and I replaced it with a 8mm bolt, but the hole that it goes into is actually 9.6mm diameter. So I used an 8mm bolt and then strapped it down with some lashings, and that was fine for the rest of the journey. But obviously I don't want to carry on like that. I want to replace it. So I was originally thinking of turning up a new 9.6mm pin with a thread on the top, so you can bolt it to the bracket of the tiller pilot. Then after a bit of thought, I decided to in fact make up an adapter, something like this, that will slide down in that 9.6mm on the outside and have an 8mm hole, so that should that ever break again, I can then replace it easily with an 8mm bolt. And with 2 nuts on it, which should do the job fine. So this is a tailstock from the mini lathe, and it's, well, one of the little bolts that holds it together. Tiddly little bolt. It's about an M4, M5. It's broken off. I've got to get that out and do a repair so that I can carry on with my drilling through this piece of bronze that I'm machining. It's okay. Depth. Hey, there he is. Good. All we've got to do is find a new screw for that, I think. Here's this little set of stud extractors. It's got places for 4 in the clips, and for some reason there's 6 in the set, but other than that, each different sizes, and they're very good. They've got a drill bit on one end, which I don't know if that will focus on for you to see, and the other end is a reverse tapered spiral thing. You just back it up in the drill and it winds it out. And just as a quick interruption here, these videos are completely independent, so none of the tools that I'm showing you are sponsoring me in any way at all. They're completely independent. I'm just showing you things that work for me. In fact, over the course of close to 400 videos that I've made now, only 2 of them have involved any sort of sponsored tools or equipment, and in both cases there were things that I felt were useful and interesting to people who are running projects and a budget workshop such as myself, and that's why I showed them. But I really don't like doing that sort of thing. If you'd like to help keep these videos independent, I'm sure you know how to do it. We have a Patreon page, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month to support the video making. Just clean those threads out a bit. It goes on there like that. That goes on there like that. Good, looking better. Get the 2 screws in here, get the handle back on. That's in there. That will go in there all the way. Screw in his work for this side if we're lucky. Feels good. And this one goes on here like that. And the little hanky here tightens that one up. Okay, seems to be good. And washer and nut. the moment it works. So I'm through on my bronze piece with 8mm all the way through. Just going to countersink the ends now. How's that feel? Feels good. No burrs. Well, I did show you this set of monkey strong countersinks that I bought when I bought them, and now I've used them a fair bit, and they are very, very good actually. Monkey strong is a silly name, but 20.5, 16.5, 12.4, 10.4, 8.3, 6.3mm countersinks, and they've been really good, so I can recommend them. So this is currently measuring up at 13mm. We need to take it down to 10. Just been to the store and bought 4 of these Allen headed socket screws, 8mm screws, and I've cut the head off of one, and here it is. So that will go nicely in there. Can bolt that onto the bracket, the tiller pilot, nut top and bottom. Should do the job really. It's quite a good fit. So I think I'll do all 4 of those. Yeah. And that'll be the new tiller pilot mounting pin. What a great piece of kit that is. The 4-inch vice mount brake, and that is a truly wonderful piece of kit. That's what we just bent up. No trouble at all. Look. No trouble at all to bend that. Lovely. Well, Well, some of these jobs that look like they should be 5 minutes of work end up taking you hours for the most silly little thing. Let me give you an example. I've bought 2 of these little tiller fittings, which I'm hoping the camera's focusing on, from Ray Marine. And this is what the tiller pilot connects to on the tiller. As you may remember, if you've been following, I broke a few of these bolts. So I was going to make a new plate, and I've started making the plate here with that set in it, with the nut welded on the bottom, so I can simply screw that in there, lock it with a lock nut, and replace it if need be. So I bought 2 of these. These are mighty expensive from Ray Marine. It comes like this, the tiller pilot bolt with 2 lock nuts, and they cost about €22 each. So I bought 2, which means with postage and packing, 2 of these little things have cost me about $50, which is crazy. So anyhow, I got out here to try and start making up the plate, and I've got that far. And then I've learnt that the thread and the nuts on these are 1/4 inch UNF, which in itself is fine, but I know from experience that these things break on my boat. And if they break and I end up needing to replace them, I've only got 2, remember, and I'm not buying loads at €22 a piece. If I need to replace them, then it needs to be a thread that I can find readily in Europe. So, you know, why didn't they put an M6 on that? Okay, they've chosen to put 1/4 inch UNF. That's their choice, isn't it? But an M6 would be much better. So I've taken one of them and I've run an M6 die down it. That's okay. And I've just been off to the shop and purchased a lot of M6 bolts, which I shall take the heads off of. So those will make tiller pilot pins, and a collection of M6 nuts. I'm going to weld an M6 nut on the bottom of here, drill a hole through there, weld a M6 nut on there, so that I've got the option. I'm going to take all these heads off of these. So I've got 12 potential tiller pins, plus the 2 that I bought there. I'll thread the other one M6. So that'll give me 14 potential tiller pins. That should be enough for years. It should be enough for years. I only broke 3, I think, this year sailing. Run an M6 through that, I think. Oh dear, don't break off. Oh, it's broken off. I have to clean that thread out a bit. Stiff. I'm not sure. It needs to go in by hand. Why is it so stiff? Oh, I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh man. What the hell is going on here? So I've welded that stainless nut on the bottom of there, but it's not working. I'm not happy. The issue is that the stainless, as you may well know, little bits in a stainless thread, little bits of the material break off and jam the thread, and I can't get one of these screws to screw in and out of it reliably, which isn't doesn't bode well for the future. So I'm going to rethink and have another approach. I'm making a second one now, see how that comes out. That's quite nice. That is nice. That will go up in there. That will be our piece. Lovely in there, isn't it? Really wants to go a little bit deeper. Yeah. Let's go. So here is the Mark III. I'm just going to prepare a lock nut on here. Lock nut goes on there like that. This is the Mark III with the bronze insert in the stainless bracket. That will screw into there. We'll nip up the lock nut, keep it in place. Theory being, with that lock nut there, should this break, it'll break above the lock nut, and then I'll be able to undo the lock nut and get this section out. In fact, wind it out on the lock nut and screw a new one in. And I think it's going to be better than the old version. That's good and solid in there. I'll bed this in epoxy, although I think I'll put a release agent on the bottom so I can take it off again, but it's just completely perfectly located on there, on the tiller. And we live in hope. So it is now 25 past 1 on the second day. That's how long it's taken me to make that silly little thing there. I've got tools out all over the place. The lathe has been used a lot. These little lathes, they are great. When you buy one, you've bought a project. It has to be said, you know, there are all sorts of YouTube videos on how to improve them and repair them and whatever. And certainly, if you buy one, buy some spare belts for it. This belt I've got on there now seems to be a very good one, and it's actually running the best it's ever run. But I say, be prepared to fiddle with them if you buy one. They are great though. Looking around, tools all over the place, and I've tied it up twice in between times, making that bracket. It's involved 2 runs to the hardware store. What a palaver. Anyhow, that's where it is. I've been making that for 2 days. So, you know, it's only halfway through the second day, admittedly, but that's how long that silly little thing has taken me, because things just kept going wrong. My 10mm, my M10 die wouldn't cut. I went to the hardware store to buy a new M10 die, which cut straight away with the new one. I guess I've worn it out threading stainless. Yeah, as you saw, the tap holder broke. It's just crazy how long it takes just to make one silly little bit when things aren't going smoothly. But there we go. It's all part of the fun, isn't it? Well, we're going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Yeah, next week there may or may not be a video. I'm not sure. We're certainly heading back to the boat next week. So actually on the day that the video normally comes out. So we'll see. Maybe a short video. I'm not sure. But very exciting, heading back to the boat. I'm looking forward to that. Some warmer weather. That'll be good. As I say, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.